Hello everybody to this packet tracer activity, which is 10.3.4. On this packet tracer activity, I'm going to show you how to connect your router to your LAN, which is your router to your LANs. Right now you see a red check mark, but we're going to fix this soon, and I'll show you how to configure it using the addressing table. So I'll try to go over this real quick. So I won't be reading everything line by line. I'll just show you how to answer the questions and how to configure your network because I assume that you guys have already read this. So as you can see below, my packet trace activity completion says 0 now. By the end of this video, we should get 100%. So let's get started. Our objective for this activity is going to be it says part 1, display router information. Part 2 says configure router interfaces. Part 3 says verify the configuration. Alright, so we're going to part 1, display router information. Over here, something I want to mention real quick. The password for our router for our line console is given to us, which is Cisco, and for our privilege executive mode, which is given to us, that says class. So our first task is which command displays the statistics for all interfaces configured on a router. So to complete this, we have to go to one of the routers, either R1 or R2. I'll just go to R1, press enter, put my password, which is Cisco, as we saw earlier, and then I have to do enable to go to the privilege mode, and then have to write down class. Now I'm on the privilege mode, as you can see here by the pound sign. The question is which command displays the statistics for all interfaces configured in a router. So to display that, we have to write down show IP interface brief. So over here it shows us all gigabit internet interfaces, fast internet interfaces. So that's how we see our statistics for all of our interfaces. We have to put down show IP interface brief. Second question, which command displays the information about the serial 000 interface only? So if you want to see a specific interface, we have to write down show IP, or we can just do show interface, and then we have to specify serial 0/0/0, press enter. And now we are at the serial 000 interface. We can see that we have an IP address, we can see our bandwidth, and we can see information about our serial interface. All right, so part C, enter the command to display the statistics for the serial 000 interface on R1 and answer the following questions. So for R1, what is the IP address of R1? So to do that, we're already on R1, we're already on our serial 000 interface. So our IP address for R1 is given to us right here, which will be, if we see closely, we have our internet address 299.169.200.255/30, which is our subnet mask. So that will be our answer for IP address on R1. What is the bandwidth on serial 000 interface, which we are on right now, and our bandwidth is going to be 1544 kilobits. So that will be our bandwidth. For D, enter the command to display the statistics for the gigabit internet 000 interface and answer the following questions. So now we're at the serial 000 interface, so we need to go to the show. We have to go to the show interface and then put down G000, G0/0, press enter. And then right here, we can see it's asked us a question, what's the IP address of R1? So unfortunately, this gigabit interface is not configured, so it says administratively down, which that means we don't have an IP address for it. So right now, we don't have an IP address for R1 on the gigabit 000. So we will see what's the MAC address of the gigabit 000 interface. Our MAC address is going to be right here, which is going to be 000D.000 BDC.7D01, as you can see here. All right, so that will be our answer for our gigabit interface. Number 3, what is the bandwidth of the gigabit internet 0/0? Our bandwidth for our gigabit internet is 1 megabyte per second. So that will be equivalent to 1 million kilobytes. So that will be our answer. All right, so we're done with step 1. We're going to step 2. Display a summary list of the interface on R1. Which command displays a brief summary of the current interface status and the IP address assigned to them? We already saw that before. We have to just write down the show IP interface brief command as we saw before. That's how we see. Enter the command on each router and answer the following questions. How many serial interfaces are on R1 and R2? So we can see that show IP interface brief. And then right here we can see the question is how many serial interfaces are on R1 and R2. Our serial interface, we can see we have 1 here, and in total we have 2 on R1. We are on R1 right now. We can do the same thing on R2. We come to R2, press enter. We haven't accessed this router so far, so it's asking us for a password. Go to privilege mode, put down class, and then now I have to put the show IP interface brief command. Oops, sorry, I misspelled it. All right, so for R2 we have the same thing: serial serial number 000 and serial number 001. So we have 2 interfaces. We have 2 serial interfaces for both our routers. How many Ethernet interfaces are there on R1 and R2? So Ethernet interfaces, we have gigabit internet right here. We have 2 of them. We don't have any fast internet interfaces. I don't see any. So we only have 2 Ethernet interfaces on R2. We go to R1. On R1 we have 1, 2, and then we also have fast internet interfaces 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have 6 interfaces in total, Ethernet interfaces in total. All right, so that will be that. And are all Ethernet interfaces on R1 the same? No, they're not. One is fast Ethernet interface and the other one is gigabit interface. So the difference between the two is just the gigabit internet is faster than the fast internet interface, and it's mostly used for high performance network applications. So that is the main difference between the two. In short, the gigabit Ethernet interface is faster than the fast Ethernet interface. Right, so we go to our step 3. What command displays the contents of the routing table? So it's asking us what command displays the content of the routing table. So to see that, we have to write down the show IP route command, and then we can see the routing table right here. So enter the command on R1, we already did. Answer the following questions. How many connected routes are there? It's giving us a hint, uses a C code. So we have C code right here. We only have 1 connected right now. So our answer is going to be 1. And it says which route is listed. It's going to be 209.165.200.224/30, which is our subnet mask. And it asks us, how does a router handle a packet designed for networks that is not listed in the routing table? So usually, if it's not listed in the routing table, it has a process that looks for the default routing to determine what to do with the packet. But if there's no default routing, the router will discard the packet and just send an ICMP message back to the sender saying, you know, I can't reach the destination unreachable, any kind of message like that. So that's what's going to happen. So in short, you can put down, it just discards the message. So that's what it does. All right, so we're going to part 2, configure router interfaces. Configure the gigabit internet 0/0 interface on R1. We can do that, we're ready. Over here, you can see it's in configuration terminal. We're on privilege mode, so we have to go to configuration terminal. We put config t, config, or we can just write down the whole thing, configure terminal. And we're in the configuration terminal. We put interface. We're going to gigabit internet 0/0, as you can see here. So you can put the whole command, it's up to you. I just like putting things in short. You can just do interface G, which stands for gigabit ethernet 0/0, press enter. So now we're in the gigabit internet interfaces. So now we put the IP address, which is going to be 192.168.10.1. And we have our subnet mask, which is 2.255.255.255.0. All right. And then we have to give the no shutdown command so that our interface is going to be up. Before, you've noticed that it says down. So if we leave it like that, it's still going to be down because the router is not going to save it. I mean, it has the IP address, but it's not going to put the interface up. So we have to put no shutdown command so that the interface will be up. If you can see here, I just put no shut. You can just put down no shutdown. It's up to you. It will just do the same thing. Press enter. Now we have successfully configured our gigabit Ethernet 0/0. So next, what we will see is it's a good practice to configure a description for each interface to help document the network. Configure an interface description that indicates the device to switch. So it says configure an interface description that indicates the device to which it is connected. So to do that, we just have to put description. As we can see here, it says LAN, which is our LAN connection to S1. So S1. As you can see here, our R1 gigabit interface is connected to the switch number 1. That means S1. So that's why we're giving this description. We're giving this description, so just in case, if, for example, if we're working on a big, network, right now this is a small network, but if it was a big network, has multiple switches, multiple routers, and then somebody configured everything, but when the other administrator comes and try to configure something, we don't know which interface, which router is configured with which. So it makes our job easier to put always a description of what we did so that it even reminds that for ourselves, or if another person comes and want to troubleshoot, it's just easy for them. They can see it's connected to the switch one, and it's easy to trace. So that's why we do that. Press enter, and then just in case, put the no shutdown command. And now we have successfully done the G01, the gigabit interface 0/0. So now we have, which says R1 should now be able to ping PC1. Why don't we try that? So I go exit, and then let's see if our ping is going to be successful. So we're going to ping 192, which is our PC1, 168.10.10. Press enter. And then as you can see here, it says it has successfully pinged it, but it's showing us 80%. I'm sure if we do it again, we should get 100%. So every time you configure it and you ping it, the first try is going to give you like 70%, 80%, but if you do it the second time, it should give you 100%. So that will be our answer. So we've already configured that. If you track your packet tracer completion, by now you should have completed the 22%. So don't worry, we're going to finish this fast. So now we're on the step 2, configure the remaining gigabit Ethernet interface on R1 and R2. Use the information in addressing table to finish the interface configuration for R1 and R2 for each interface. Do the following: enter the IP address and activate the interface, configure an appropriate description, verify interface configurations. All right, so we can do that. We have already configured the G00 interface. Now we just need to do the rest. So we have to go back to our addressing table. We have already completed this right here, the gigabit interface. We have completed that. We just need to do the interface 0/1 and the serial 000. So let's do that quick. So remember, we have to go to the configuration terminal, press enter, and now we have to specify the interface G0 So /1, that's where I want to go in. And then IP address, it's going to be 192.168.11.1. And then we have to put a subnet mask, which is 255.255.255.0. We press enter, and then it's always a good idea to give it a description. We can put description, and then this time our LAN connection, as we can see here, it's connected to S2. So we can just put S2, which is our switch number 2. Press enter, and now we have to give it the no shutdown command. Press enter so that our interface will be up. All right, so we're done with this interface. We exit out, and then now we can go to the second interface, which is serial 0/0/0. So we go interface serial 0/0/0, press enter, and now we have to give it the IP address, which is 209.165.200.225. We press enter. Oh, sorry, it says incomplete command. We didn't put the subnet mask. That's why, which we have it right here. All right, we go back to R1. We give our subnet mask 255.255.255.252. We press enter. This time we have successfully configured it. We put no shutdown so that our interface will be up. And then we just exit out. So we're done with R1. So it's always a good thing to save your configuration. Now, if we have a power outage or if anything happens for some reason, all of our configuration is going to be lost, because right now it's on the RAM. It's not on the NVRAM, which is the non-volatile memory. So we need to save it to there. So we have to put copy run start. So the command for copying the full command is going to be copy running configuration startup configuration, but you can put in short copy run start. So if you press enter and it's asking you again, press enter to the destination file. Now it's already saved. All right, so we've done with R1, and now we have to go to R2. All right, R2, we have to put the password, which is Cisco, and then we have to enable to go to privilege mode, and then we have to put the password for the privilege mode, which is going to be class. And then now we have to go to each interface. So we have to go to the configuration terminal, and then we have to specify which interface that we want to go. Right now we're going to be configuring G00, G0/1, and serial number serial 0/0/0. So we put interface G0/0 and then press enter, and then now we have to put the IP address. It's going to be IP address, so it's going to be 10.1.1.1, and then we have to, of course, put the subnet mask, which is going to be 255.255.255.0. We press enter. We just give it a quick description. Our description is going to be, this is going to LAN connection. So this is going to be connecting to S3, so which is going to be our switch number 3. We do that, we press enter, and then we can do the no shut command so that our interface will be up. Press enter. So as you can see here, it says change state to up. Good, that's a good thing. We press enter, and now you should be able to see a green check mark right here. If you track it, before it was red, now we're seeing a green check mark. That means this one is successfully configured. We just need to configure those. So we've already done R1, G00 and R2. We just need to go to G0/1 now. We have to exit out of this. We go back to interface G0/1. We press enter, and then we put interface, we put IP address, which is going to be 10.1.2.1, and our subnet mask for it is going to be 255.255.255.0. We press enter, and then we can just give it a quick description. On this case, our LAN is connecting. So our LAN is connecting to S4. So we put S4, which is our switch number 4, and then we press enter. We give it the no shutdown command. All right, so we can see our change state to up. So we have already done that. Now we have to exit out, and it's always a good thing. Oops, we have one more. We have to do the serial interface. I believe we didn't configure it, so we can do that quick. Interface, we put serial, which is our 0/0/0. Press enter. Our IP address for that is going to be 209.165.200.226. And then, of course, we're going to have to put our subnet mask, which is 2.255.255. Let me see, 255.252. That's our subnet mask. We press enter. And then we can give the no shutdown command. We're good to go now. So we exit out. So if you go to your packet tracer completion, you should be at 94% by now if you have followed each step on the video. If not, it's okay. You can just go back, replay the video and see if there's any step you missed so far. So let's get back to the video. You press enter. And as I said before, it's always good to copy your configuration to the NVRAM. For that, we do copy, run, start. I can show you the full command for that. It's going to be copy, running, config, startup, and then config. So that's going to be the full command. We press enter again, and then everything is successfully saved. So our packet tracer shows us our 100% completion. But if you can stay with me for a couple more minutes, I can answer some of the questions that is left below. So it's just going to take a couple more minutes. So we've done step number 2. So step number C, backup the configuration to NVRAM, which we already did with the copy running configuration, startup configuration. We already completed that. Now it says part 3, verify the configuration. So step 1, use verification commands to check your interface configuration. Show IP interface brief command on both R1 and R2 to quickly verify that the interfaces are configured with the correct IP address and are active. So we can do that real quick. We can start with R2 because we were already on R2. I can put show IP interface brief. And then we can verify, go to our addressing table and see if everything is done correctly. For example, we see our G0 slash, we're on R2, G0/1, it says 10.1.2.1. So over here we can see 10.1.2.1, which says up, it's successfully configured. And same thing if you see the 00, Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet, it has the same IP interface. So you can just match up your configuration with the addressing table. If you're missing anything, again, go back to the video and see how to correct it, how to use the command and correct each IP address in case you misconfigured it. So I won't go back to R1 and do it again because it's something you can do based on what I showed you. So you just put the same command on R1, check your addressing table, see if everything is configured correctly. All right, so now it's asking us how many interfaces on R1 and R2 are configured with IP address and in the up state. So we have 3 over here, 1, 2, 3. If I go to R1, it's going to be the same thing. We have 3 interfaces up. Again, it says the next question is, which part of the interface configuration is not displayed in the command output? Over here, we can't see the subnet mask. We can't see our description. So to configure that, we just go to the show run command, which is going to be show running configuration. So if we go down, we can see that we have our subnet mask right here. We have description, LAN connection to S4. And we also see our subnet mask on each gigabit Ethernet. So 0/0, description, LAN connection to S3, IP address, and it has our subnet mask. Another thing you can do is you can also go to the specific interface, which is going to be, for example, I can go to show interface, and then I can put the interface that I want to see. So if I want to see G0/0, press enter. This way I can see, the IP address, I can see the description, and you can just do it both ways. So let's go to the next question. So over here, which part of the interface is not displayed? We already answered that. What commands can you use to verify this part of the configuration? We just saw that we can use two commands, which is the show running configuration command. The other one is just going to specific interface, which is going to be show interface, and then put down the specific interface that you want to see, either G0/0, it can be G0/1, it can be serial interface 0/0/0. Anything you want to see, you can any interface you want to see, you can access it through that command. Now it's going to be, we're going to use the show IP route command on both R1 and R2 to view the current routing tables and answer the following questions. So we can sure use that, show IP route. All right, so over here it says how many connected routes uses the C code do you see on each router? So over here we can see 1, 2, 3. We have 3. How many OSPF? It just means that like open shortest path first. That's what the acronym stands for. Uses the 0 code do you see on each router. So on each router we can see 1, 2 here. Just to demonstrate, I can just go to the R1 and just show you that. We can go to the show IP route. We can see the same thing. We have 2 zeros and we have 3 C's. So on both of our routers, we have 5 in total. If the router knows all the routes in the network, then the number of connected routes and dynamically learned routes OSPF should equal to the number of LANs and WANs. How many LANs and WANs are in the topology? Over here we can see our topology. So we have 1 LAN, we have 2, we have 3, and we have 4 LANs. In total we have 4 LANs, and then we have 1 WAN. So which is going to be our routers. So we have 4 LANs and 1 WAN. So in total we have 5, as we can see here, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5. So it says, does this number match the number of C and O routes shown in the routing table? Yes, it matches. We have 5 in total, and we have 5 over here. We have 3 C's and 2 zeros, which is our LANs. All right, so we have 5 in total. If your answer is no, then you are missing a required configuration review, the steps in part 2. So if you're missing something, just trace back on what you did wrong and see if you're missing a step. You can just go back to the video and see if there's anything you configured by mistake and try to correct it. So we're going to our end, test into connectivity across the network. You should now be able to ping from any PC to any other PC on the network. In addition, you should be able to ping the active interface on the routers. For example, the following test should be successful. From the command line on PC1, ping PC4. So let's do that. So go to PC1, we go to our command prompt because that's where we can ping. And then, of course, we have to go to our addressing table to know what IP address PC4 has. So go back to our addressing table. We put ping. We want to ping PC4, which is right here. So it's going to be 10.1.2.10. All right, it should be successful. Let's just give it a few seconds. It says request timed out, but the first time you do it, it doesn't give you 100% on your ping. It says we have lost 1 packet, but if we do that again, we should get everything right. So now it says 0 loss, 4 sent, 4 received, so we're good. All right, so the next one says from the command line on R2 ping PC2. We have to go to our R2 and we have to ping this PC. So we have to see the IP address for it. So we write down ping, and then this is the ping that we're going to do. So it's going to be 192.168.11.10. All right. So it says 80%. Just do it again. Should give you 100. And now we have a success rate of 100%, 5 out of 5. So our ping is working, our network is working. As you can see, you have all green check marks. That means just giving you a hint that you have configured everything correctly. And you also see your completion is already 100%. So that will be all for today. Please leave a comment if there's anything you didn't understand. Please let me know and I'll explain it to you. And also, if there's any packet tracer activity that you want me to do, please put it down in the comment and then I'll make sure I put a video on it. Thanks everybody for being here. Until next time. Bye.